Um, Hi everybody. My name is Dr. B. Khalilur Rahman, working as Associate Professor in Lamalla Reddy Engineering College, Department of EC. So, in the series of lectures on the FPGA programming, we are now discussing the second unit in the subject FPGA programming. So far, we have seen 5 lectures. I'll just quickly recapitulate those 5 lectures. First lecture was about the syllabus of the FPGA programming. We discussed the entire syllabus on the LO1, that is the learning outcome 1, that corresponds to first unit. Then, in the second video lecture, we discussed about the PRAM, PAL, PLA. That's all are the SPLDs, simplex programmable logic devices. In the third lecture, we discussed about the CPLD and its architecture. In the fourth lecture, we discussed about the FPGA architecture. And fifth lecture also we continued our discussion with the FPGA and its applications. These 5 learning outcomes are corresponds to the unit 1. Now we are moving in a unit 2, that is the UDM. UDM stands for Universal Design. U stands for Universal, D stands for Design, M stands for Methodology. UDM, a design methodology which universally follows. UDM and PD. PD means Programmable Devices. So this is the heading of the second unit. We will be discussing the contents in the second unit, and then we will be discussing those learning outcomes of the second unit. Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. So yes, the FPGA programming subject, and this is uh, the unit 2. This is the starting of the unit 2. Universal design methodology for programmable devices. You can able to see here UDM. In short, we will be calling it as a UDM. UDM. UDM, Universal Design Methodologies for Programmable Devices. Programmable devices. Our programmable devices means we have discussed PAL, PLA, ROM, CPLD, FPGA, SIC. All these are the programmable devices. Now, to discuss the second chapter, we have the introduction to UDM, a design methodology which universally follows. The design methodology. We are discussing in this entire chapter the design methodology, the design specifications, the review of the design specifications, which tool we are using, the choosing of the tool, design, what is the design, the verification. Okay. So in this learning outcome, we are discussing about the introduction to UDM. We will be moving up to the design part, design or verification part. This this content or the level learning outcome 1. These contents we are discussing in detail. These contents. Okay. Then in the next lectures, we will be discussing the system integration and test, hardware description languages, all that. Okay. Now, moving to the design methodology. Uh, what do you mean by, one second. What do you mean by design methodology? So far we have seen the logic devices, programmable logic devices. So we have seen a different FPGAs. We have the Intel FPGAs, we have the Xilinx FPGAs, and we have also seen a different CPLDs. We have seen that the CPLD, we have the Xilinx CPLDs, we have the Altera CPLDs, we have the Philips CPLDs, we have the Cypress CPLDs, we have the Philips CPLDs, we have the, all these are the manufacturing companies of the CPLDs. And if I talk about the FPGA manufacturing companies, we have Xilinx and Altera. These two are the leading manufacturing for the FPGAs. So each and every company is having its own style of designing. It's the methodology they are choosing. So if one engineer is working in Xilinx, so if he is good in that organization, and if he moves from Xilinx to Altera, the design methodology should be unique. Otherwise, that engineer has to suffer a lot. So that's the reason this, for any logic to implement, there is more or less same design approach they will use, irrespective of the manufacturers. That's the reason we will be calling it as a universal design methodology. The name here you can observe, the universal design methodology. There should be a same design methodology followed for all the manufacturers. Okay. Now for that, the learning outcomes of the second chapter, these are all the learning outcomes: understanding the universal understanding the UDM, that is the universal design. You can observe here universal design methodology. PD stands for programmable devices. This is the first, this part is our first learning outcome. Next, we have the second learning outcome: discover the importance of the writing specifications and performing a specification review. The third learning outcome we have: choose appropriate programmable devices and software tools based on the specification. The fourth learning outcome we have: the fundamental concepts of the hardware description languages. The fifth learning outcome we have: the top-down design and how it is used to organize a design, and the speed. These all are the learning outcomes of the unit 2. To start with the UDM, this is the design flow. Universally, all will follow this design flow. More or less, it is same. The UDM, Universal Design Methodology, and UDM PD. PD stands for Programmable Devices. What is the first and foremost thing we have to do as a company? If, for example, if I am having, if Xilinx is having a company, Altera is having a company, for example, if I am having one company, a client comes to me. A client requires some application to perform. For example, he has to manufacture a arithmetic logical unit. He is a client. He requires a ALU to be designed. That I have to design. So in a company, the top level people, the highest paid people, the managers, those who are having an experience of more than 20 or 25 years, those engineers will give the specifications. Client only comes and client tells that I require a IC which can perform a 32-bit ALU. That is the client requirement. Okay. I, being the owner of a company, I'll recruit a person who is having more than 25 years, a top level management. He gives the specifications to the client. Okay, that is the first step. First step is specifications. I am writing here. Write a specification or else specifications. Specifications. This is the first step. Okay. What comes in a specifications? Let us see. So in the specification, the external block diagram, the client requires a ALU. In the ALU, there are two inputs, A and B, and there are many more outputs. One for addition, one for subtraction, one for multiplication, one for division, one for shift left, one for shift right, one for rotate left, one for logical and, one for logical not. All these are the outputs. A and B, only two are the inputs. For example, this is the external block diagram. A is my input, B is my input. These are all my outputs. You can observe a half adder, a full adder. These all are my outputs. These are my inputs. I'm sorry. These are my inputs. These all are my inputs. Using these inputs, and these are all my outputs. OS outputs. Okay. Now this is a block diagram of a 32-bit ALU. The top level management, the specifications. Okay. The specification engineer will give these details that this is your block diagram, and inside this there will be one for addition, one for subtraction, one for multiplication. There are different blocks, that we will be calling it as a internal block diagram. The external block diagram shows the chip fits into the system. ALU is one part of a CPU. The client requires only ALU. So we are giving the specifications, the external block diagram of the ALU. Then the internal block diagram means inside this ALU there is one, this part is for addition, this part is for multiplication. This is the internal block diagram. The description of input output pins, how many input are there, how many output pins are there, which technology are using, either a CMOS or TTL or ECL, all these things, these are all comes under the specifications. The timing specifications, how many logic gates we are using. Then the physical specifications, the package type means a dual inline packing or a quad packing, all these things, physical size, what is the size of the IC, connector requirements, all these things, power consumption, how much power it is consumed, what will be the cost, what, these all comes under the design specification. This is the first part, this is the first thing in the specifications. Okay. Now we will stop here. We will be discussing the remaining things in the next lecture. We have only discussed about the right specifications. The remaining things we will continue in the next lecture. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.